Zelaya is my guest, and we are talking very frankly about laws of Canada and the guns and home invasions and how we think that Canada is not dealing properly with it. And then we're talking about the society. And there are so many people. I live in a small village called Buckhorn. And you talk to people there, and they say, we don't understand what's happening in the urban centers. We don't understand why, there are protests where people block traffic, where people are on the subways completely drunk or stoned, and the government's giving out, quote, safe drugs. And we started to talk about that just before the break, but I want you to elaborate because I don't understand where governments follow, quote, some experts and say, we're changing the name of young Dundas. We're changing other names. Sir John MacDonald, well, he was a bad guy. And what happened to our society that, Mario, that we just don't follow what I would say common sense?
I think it's this erosion of just common sense and just doing the thing that is like logically correct. And I think
why? How did it erode?
I think it just slowly happened over time. I think it has happened so slowly that people are finally waking up and realizing what the heck just happened. And I think it was Jordan Peterson that talked about the slow erosion of government encroachment, that it happens slowly and they start creeping and these laws change just dramatically. And you start seeing the net effects of it is how the heck do you turn it around? And I think
that was my next question, because I think most Canadians would say that our society is far less safe, far less productive, far less enjoyable than it was even 10 or 15 years ago. So how are the normal people, I put it that way, the good citizens, how are they going to turn it around?
I think what needs to be done, there's two things. Immigration background checks, it needs to be better. Like we have a very weak system. You have no idea how many people I hear from that work in the healthcare industry saying, this nurse, she got fired because she had a fake diploma. This nurse, she isn't a real nurse. And they quietly fired her. None of this stuff makes the news. Like this is putting Canadian lives at risk. And this is happening overseas. So there's no background checks. There's fake diplomas. There's a diploma mill. There's uncontrolled immigration coming from a particular part of the world. There's these weak laws. There's tourism. There's crime tourism that happens. People come to Canada knowing that it's a shopping center, that they can break into whatever home, do whatever they want, be armed to the nines, take everything they want. And if they get caught, what's the worst thing that can happen? They get deported. There's no consequences. And so if you change the laws, if you change immigration, you have reform on both, we go back to where we were.
Or what about just enforcing the law? Recently, many people have seen pictures of some thugs. They walk into a liquor store owned by the government with big bags, pretty expensive booze down, and they walk out. Now, I don't know why they have security guards there at every place like that who do nothing. But what about the police? 10 years ago, they would have pressed a button, the cop would have been there, and they would have arrested them, and they would have been in jail. So what has happened with our enforcement?
The system's overloaded. There's not enough police officers. I've heard it from different regions, and I'm going to keep those regions private. But they tell me, they're like the number that they told me of active police officers that are on the street is shockingly low. Like people have no idea how little police patrol we actually have. And so the system is completely shocked.
Well, how are elected politicians allowed that to occur?
And that's the great question. And we run into this issue of we will give billions of dollars to other countries and we will fund other countries, but we won't fund our own legal system. We won't fund the police officers. Like they create at the federal level, they created this problem by having mass immigration come in. We have a mass amount of crime, but we have the same budgets at the police level. And when the police asked for more, they said, oh no, you guys just got to work harder. Like, what are you talking about? The overtime rates that some of these officers make is insane because we're just overloaded.
We're overloaded, but we've allowed those who we elect to lead to make this happen, to let it happen.
And that's the sad reality is people complain, but yet they voted for this. And that's the realization that I think people need to wake up to is like people voted on a one issue item, not realizing our problems are domestic. They voted because they said, you know what, the number one issue is going to be Donald Trump. So if that's the number one issue, then don't complain about your taxes. Don't complain about jail. Sorry, bail, not jail. Don't complain about these home invasions. Don't complain about these other things, because that's the thing that you cared about the most. And then now you're coming back saying, oh well, I'm not doing so well because my home got broken into and my car got stolen.
You are a heck of a citizen, and thank you for coming on. And I hope we see a lot more of you.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
Quick break. We come back. What's going on in the NDP? We have the answers.